So Deontay Johnson is a Houston Texan now, and of course, he did not clear waivers. Houston took an opportunity at him, and it's the fourth team in the last calendar year that he's been a part of after the Ravens waived him. Of course, they brought him in prior to the trade deadline from Carolina, where he just spent a few months. And prior to that, it didn't exactly end on great terms in Pittsburgh, as we've all watched. And then, of course, what took place in Baltimore after the deadline. Oh, I don't know, maybe just a massive game against the then top team, arguably in the entire league, and maybe still are, in the Philadelphia Eagles on December 1st. And when his number was called, he refused to go in. What kind of message does that send to your peers? What kind of message does that send to other NFL teams? And there is nobody that I've seen in recent history that left more on the table in Baltimore than Deontay Johnson did. Not only the opportunity to play and prove himself to maybe another team, whether it be in Baltimore or elsewhere, that he's worthy of another contract, but a playoff run. What team would you rather be a part of right now? The Houston Texans or the Baltimore Ravens? Houston, of course, just lost Tank Dell. CJ Stroud is in the middle of a sophomore slump, putting the finishing touches on that season. Their offensive line has a lot to do with his struggles. What team would you rather play right now? One of the hottest teams in the league, not named the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Houston Texans, who likely will be bowing out, you would think, on opening weekend, wild card weekend. Now, look, Diontae apparently, this was video caught of suspended X21 here, who looks to be in the bleachers. This was on Christmas Day in Houston. And Diontae in good spirits with Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry, some other teammates. Lamar comes in here at the tail end, I believe. These guys are all dapping each other up as if to say there were no locker room relationships fractured, at least not with the Florida boys. I know Diontae has roots down there in the South Florida area, if I'm not mistaken. Look at him. He and King are all fired up. Those are two veterans. So I'm not saying that there were any relationships fractured in the locker room, but certainly you're led to believe that from a coaching standpoint, from an organizational standpoint, you can't, I can't even begin to imagine what those conversations were like, especially after he refused to enter into the game. Well, here he is, his first comments as a Houston Texan. And according to, let's see, who did I get this from? This was Aaron Wilson. Here's what he had to say when asked about it.
Did or didn't happen with the Ravens, and what kind of led you to this path to being here?
I just want to, I don't want to leave that in the past. Fresh start here, so like I said, I had a good time there. I got some good teammates over there. Got to know whatever. Those relationships still gonna be there. Like I said, I'm gonna move forward here. I'm trying to win games and go far in the playoffs.
Your short time here, besides CJ, some of the other guys you've been around, and just the culture in general. What have you learned already about the culture?
Team first. Everybody's about the team. I'm about the team too. So I'm doing whatever the coaches ask me to do. For special teams, free play a couple plays here and there, or just contribute in some sort of way. That's all I'm really worried about.
I'm about the team too, huh, Diontae? You sure about that? Here's what you just heard. Aaron Wilson asks, what do you feel like, or I don't know if it was Aaron or not, but that was courtesy of Aaron Wilson down there in Houston. A reporter asked Diontae in that scrum, what do you feel like did or didn't happen with the Ravens? Diontae said, I want to leave that in the past. Fresh start here. I had a good time there. Got some good teammates over there. Those relationships still going to be there. Another reporter follows up. Well, what have you learned already about the culture here? What has he been there for a week? Literally, I feel like a week ago, this information came down. And Diontae goes, he's got the nerve, right? The audacity to say, team first. Everybody's about the team. I'm about the team too. Well, Diontae, I'm not sure if you suffer from short-term memory loss, but it was about 30 days ago that you refused to enter the game in a big-time marquee matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles for your opportunity to not only try and help the team win that game when they were down, but also try to reestablish yourself as a veteran in this league who is a man beater, right? He can beat man coverage. He can give you yak yards. He's a reliable route runner. He is someone who's put up numbers in this league, and he's played a lot of football. Instead, he flaked out. He refused to enter the game, suspended as a result, taken away from team activities the week that followed, ultimately waived, and ends up in Houston. 4th team in a calendar year. And I know, I just showed you the clip. We all saw it. He looks to be cool with his teammates. But I can't imagine, especially after listening to all of the in-locker room reaction after Devondre Campbell did something similar earlier this month in San Francisco. I can't imagine that there isn't more of those sentiments flying through the locker room. We just didn't hear or see anything about that because the Ravens are too buttoned up as an organization. This, to me, was a laughable response. Very tone deaf, kind of clueless. I'm about the team too? Really? Your track record doesn't necessarily back that up, Diontae. He's going to have a shot. Looks like Houston's giving him a shot. And he's going to have a chance to play some postseason football. You weren't getting that in Carolina. But certainly if you look at the two situations and you're caring about winning right now, I don't know why you wouldn't have put your pride and ego aside for a little bit and waited. Because Nelson Aguilar has been dealing with a concussion in recent weeks. Rashad Bateman has been limited due to injury. And if you just waited, if you just had a little bit of patience, maybe you could have proven yourself and shown this team that you're worthy of wide receiver 2 role. This will probably be the last time we talk about this, but it was something that was mentioned earlier today and came onto my timeline courtesy of Aaron Wilson and the other Houston Texan reporters down there in Texas. Well, Charlie Kohler's 3-week window for return after breaking his forearm. By the way, Derrick Henry broke his forearm just out of sheer explosiveness on a run in game earlier this season. But the Ravens have designated their tight end Charlie Kohler to return from IR. He has returned to practice, so good to see number 88 out there. He'd certainly be a starter, probably in a double-digit amount of other teams around this league. That's just how talented and deep the Ravens tight end room goes. But Charlie does a lot of dirty work that is thankless. But if you watch the tape, boy, it's anything but. He is an impact player for them. He is a contributor. And it's somebody that is obviously big for the Ravens' run game, big for the Ravens' physicality. It sure looks like he's going to have an opportunity based on what John Harbaugh mentioned earlier this evening to play and be available for this Week 18 game against the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, it could be a division-clinching game as well. It's a 4:30 kickoff on Saturday, January 4th. Mark your calendars accordingly. It's inside the bank. You look at the full slate for Week 18 right here. I'll be out at the Be More Around Town tailgate getting after it. Would love for you guys to come out, hang with me. I'll be start my show in the 2 o'clock hour. BeMoreAroundTown.com is where you can get your tickets. Look forward to that opportunity and look forward to hopefully having another home game, of course, the second week in January for Wild Card Weekend for the first time in a few years. That certainly looks like where we are headed right now.